Okay.
I've had a lot of women cheat on me, and I think if any of them would have said, God told me to cheat on you, I'd be like, I mean, how do you
say no?
Yeah, how do you combat that? Do you go, okay, nah, God, you get nah? You
I don't know what God's doing up there. He works in a lot of wacky ways.
He made you. He made all the other guys, so obviously something is right, you know.
If he's destroying Haiti, why wouldn't he let you cheat on me? That's like, who's to say?
He created sharks. What do you mean?
Why not?
Test. This is my normal speaking voice.
I know, you're a very docile creature.
I am.
Much like the native moose.
I am a pretty. I don't really go high or low.
No, you're right down the middle. You're a real strike zone of a conversationalist.
Yeah, there's not much outside the box that I really want to explore.
Well, hey, I'll vamp for a second while you eat your Frosty and Fries. I'm just going to start. Hello. This is the podcast. This is Bubble Boy. That's Eeland. It's really hot in this room.
I'm not hot at all. Are you hot?
Oh, I'm sweating like a dog.
Is that because you were working so hard, or you?
This is Looney's Comedy Corner's
shout out
podcast studio, but then they haven't done the podcast in a while, so it was just their storage room.
Oh, so it was just junk.
So I just moved everything over there real quick.
Oh man!
Just kind of shoved everything in a corner. Thank you, Looney's and Eric and Tracy, for letting me use your podcast studio.
Shout out.
Eeland had to drive all the way down from Boulder, and I wanted to give him as much time as possible to get here. The show, I did confirm the show starts at 7:30, so I didn't give you.
Thank you.
You're hosting?
Yes. For some reason, I thought the show started at 7, and I was like, fuck. When you messaged me, I was like, I don't want to like ruin. I don't want to have like a quick episode and it sucks.
You want a 15er?
No. Made me so sad.
I saw Wendy's. I got a TikTok about Wendy's. They have a new orange dreamsicle Frosty.
Oh my god, that's fucking disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it's so good.
Really?
Yeah, I bet it's so good.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
You not an orange dreamsicle guy?
No, only thing that should be orange is Fanta, and that's about it.
Okay, now we're into the soda talk.
Not even oranges should be orange.
I love the Christmas chocolate oranges.
Christmas chocolate oranges.
Oh, you don't know about the Christmas? No. You don't know anything.
Teach me. Christmas chocolate oranges.
You buy them at Christmas. It's a ball of chocolate that's segmented like an orange, wrapped in gold foil. And then you unwrap it, and it has like orange peel in the chocolate. So just don't look at me like that.
That sounds terrible. Who did that? Who had the time to say, you know what I really liked? The organization of an orange, but with chocolate.
But with the luxury of a chocolate. You ever have a Toblerone?
I have. I know what they are, but I don't think I've ever had one. It was like my grandma's favorite, but I don't think I've ever had a Toblerone.
All right, a Ferrero Rocher?
No, that sounds like a car. That is a car.
What else?
I drive a 2019 Ferrero Rocher.
A Lindor truffle, perhaps?
No, I'm not a big fan of truffles just because they seem pretentious.
What else we got? What else do we? Well, that was the end of the show. That was supposed to be an hour.
That's it.
You just
go through 5 different whole table snacks. I do like whatchamacallits.
Whatchamacallits are good.
Yeah, but you don't find them as much anymore.
You know where you find them?
Where?
At the Rocket Fizz across the street from Comedy Works.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's a candy store. They have like children's.
Yeah, that's where I get. There's one in Colorado Springs. That's where I get all my sodas for the podcast.
Oh, Bubble Up.
A Bubble Up.
Tell me about a Bubble Up.
A Bubble Up is an independent.
Ooh.
So we're supporting the locals. An independent lemon lime soda.
Oh, really?
My absolute favorite of the lemon lime sodas.
Ooh, I like that it says kiss of lemon and kiss of lime.
Just a little kiss of it.
I like it.
What I like about it is that it's flirty. Well, you don't get that often with beverages.
No, I mean, I like a kiss. I don't know the last time a drink gave me a kiss. Usually it's like it's throated.
It's a punch. It's
throated.
It's
a sexual assault. You know, you ever have a Pepsi? It's a sexual assault on your.
Pepsi's smooth.
No. Pepsi hurts.
What?
But I would like a kiss every once in a while.
Have a little kiss.
I miss a little love in my life.
Treat yourself. Yeah. We'll crack that open whenever you see fit. Okay. I will follow suit.
Can I do it now?
Yes.
Do you have a bottle opener, or is it a twist top?
You use your hands.
Is it a twist top?
We're gonna find out.
I don't want people to say he is not a man on the podcast.
No one can open the soda bottle tops for whatever reason. I don't know if like soda bottle twist tops are different than beer twist tops, and therefore it's harder to open. But no one can do it.
Usually
you want me to do it first?
Well, usually on my keys I have a bottle opener, so I would have.
You're scared?
I would have went directly there just so there was no lull or no fear brought up.
No,
by
I'll
all
do
the
it
beers.
first.
Since 1919, that's a great year. Okay. Oh wow. Now here's the embarrassing thing. I don't think I can do that.
You got long fingers.
Yeah, but
Use
it's
leverage.
not about the
It's
long.
just
It's not about wrapping around the thing like a fucking.
That's how I do it. You just gotta get one long.
Also, this
finger.
hurts to twist it.
I can't help you. You're supposed to be an outdoorsy man.
I
didn't
you
realize
know
you
the
had
sad
such
part is-
delicate, soft hands.
I went to help my friend on her horse ranch, and I met her boyfriend. Really cool guy. They do like horse guiding trips outside Boulder, and I like shook his hands, and then like half an hour after like shooting the shit and hanging out, and he was like, "Oh wow, you actually know how to work with horses," and I was like, "Yeah." After like half an hour, he just goes, "Man, your hands are so soft," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, you like have soft hands." And I was like, "No, they're like."
No, they're cool.
They're like cool. They're like rough hands. And then I felt his hands, and I was like, all right, well, your hands are just like extra hard. My hands are just like a little bit hard. Like, don't.
He told you have a delicate woman's touch.
Like, I do wood shit, but I also lotion.
Let me touch your hands real quick. Get in here. You moisturize, but that's a normal roughness of hands.
Yeah, that's like it's not like
That's
it's not like
exceptionally
too,
soft.
Yeah, it's not like too. It's just
I would
like
say he moisturizes. I would log it.
yes. After a long day of playing in the woods, playing with dirt, touching trees appropriately with consent, I go home and I lotion my hands. So that seems like a good balance of the day. I don't go home and like grab more sandpaper and say, I really want to feel the
Do you ever
day.
do that thing where you just put your hand in like a bucket of sand or rice and you just like
squeeze
clench?
it? Yeah.
You just clench.
All right, here we go.
You open it up. Let's see if he can get it. He's going to the sleeve. Okay, we got it. That was gonna
bubble up.
Whoa, everyone was gonna make fun of you.
Well, they already did.
They were gonna bump you down to B.
I'm already on my way there.
They were gonna take it back from you.
That is just a kiss.
It's just a kiss. It's just enough to get you through.
Yeah, that's sweet. It's
It's
not
like
so sweet.
it's like a wife watching her son get deployed in World War II,
Oh my
and he
God.
leaves on the train, and it's just a kiss before he hops on.
With no words, there's no words that need to be said.
It's just a delicate touch,
I will
a tear in
miss
the
you, son.
eye.
Yes.
They wave. That's what Bubble Up is.
And then he goes and fights for his country and dies.
Speaking of World War II, how close were you to joining the military?
Oh, not even fucking once, bro. Those guys came to my school and
The
were like,
recruiters,
yeah, we try to like recruit people and like, how many pull-ups, and gave us the whole meeting, and me and my friends just looking at each other like, we not, come on.
We know what the deal is.
Yeah, come on. We're not fucking going to the military. And they were like, oh, benefits and cool. And like, I did have one friend go, and he fucking regrets it so bad, and he hates it so much. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
sucks.
He's like he can't even like apply to be a cop. And I was like, damn, bro, like it was that bad. Yeah. So I would never fucking go to the military. Shout out to our veterans though. I mean, I
Appreciate you.
I thank you. You know, you're awesome. But
Yeah, I don't wanna.
I don't. Yeah.
I had prospects, but
just like how
not
you
everyone
guys-
does.
Just how like they didn't want to be teachers and contributing
on in.
members to society.
Come on in.
Hey, welcome.
Come on in.
We have a guest on the pod.
What's up?
Hello.
Do you need something from the back room? All right, tiptoe.
Welcome. Don't
Tiptoe.
tiptoe. Stomp. Stomp. Be intrusive.
This is actually a part, not a joke, a part of the podcast is that a staff member will come into wherever I'm recording on every episode. So this is just something that people expect to happen.
a running long gag.
Yeah.
Like a running theme.
This is a thing every time.
Great. This is like a good Seinfeld bit.
Oh, mozzie sticks.
Oh, mozzarella sticks. You got the best things. Look how she's- Do you have anything to say? Do you want to say anything into the microphone? Thank you. Oh, that's so kind.
That was
so
very kind.
sweet.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I would, if I ever got an opportunity to do a random podcast, I would say something horrible.
Yeah, you'd
just
say
to try
it.
to ruin it. Yeah, I'm not on it. No one knows who I am.
There were military recruiters at the community college I was going to, and they were like, sir, and they like kind of like stopped me from getting to class, and I was already running late. Like, sir, any interest in joining the Marines or whatever it was. And I was like, oh, no, I'm a coward. Don't worry about it. And I tried to keep walking, and then they kind of cornered me because I guess that's not the answer you're supposed to give. And they're like, no, you can do other stuff. You could do, like, comms. You could do, like, military journalism. Like, there's other stuff. Come to find out later, military journalism, you're on the front line. Like, they were actively trying to get me smoked.
Instead of having a gun, you just have a camera.
Yeah, it's the worst of both worlds. I'm getting shot out, but I don't even get to kill anyone.
That's the best. Did you tell them that you were a coward? Did you know in high school that you were a coward?
I've always known.
At what age in your life were you like, you know what? None of this is for me. Was there a moment where you were like, fuck?
Confronted on the playground in elementary school. I don't remember what age, but a young boy with a Swatch watch said, I got a knuckle sandwich for you. And he was in the grade above me, but I think I was big.
Were you in
but
school?
I was bigger than him, and I ran immediately. I didn't stop to find out what flavor. If it had condiments, I'm getting the hell out of there. There's no way. I took off immediately.
That's crazy.
That I ran away?
That you would just, yeah. I mean, even I feel like as a child, you don't know that you're a coward until you get introduced to a real world scenario.
That was
not
a ginger boy with a Swatch watch. There's nothing scarier.
Do you just see now ginger
at
boys
Christian school? There's nothing scarier than a bully at Christian school.
A bully who also believes in God.
Yeah.
He's like, the Lord told me to give you this knuckle sandwich.
Beat the shit out of you.
And you're like, we're not supposed to question the Lord.
It works in two ways. Girls who break up with you,
okay,
who say, God is telling me I have to break up with you.
What a strong
And bullies are going to fight you.
What a strong
Have
argument.
you had that? Have you had that one?
A bully?
No, I mean, yes, but no, a girl who said, I'm breaking up with you because God told me to.
No, but I'm not thinking back on it. I'm like, I would have probably respected it more. If a girl, like, I've had a lot of girls cheat on me, which I don't know what it says about me.
Okay.
I've had a lot of women cheat on me, and I think if any of them would have said, God told me to cheat on you, I'd be like, I mean, how do you
say no?
Yeah, how do you combat that? Do you go, okay, nah, God, nah.
I don't know what God's doing up there. He works in a lot of wacky ways.
He made you. He made all the other guys, so obviously something is right, you know?
If he's destroying Haiti, why wouldn't he let you cheat on me? That's like, who's to say?
He created sharks. What do you mean?
Why not?
Why not? Why shouldn't he tell you to cheat? You know, I get it. So I might use that argument.
Yeah.
I might use that.
Yeah, if you need to break up with anyone.
Break up with anyone, get out of a speeding ticket.
Taxes.
Oh, I need to do my taxes, so I may be like,
oh, do you?
IRS, like, why didn't you pay? It's like, well, God told me not to pay. And they'd be like, well, you can't use that as an excuse. And I'd be like, on the dollar bill,
One
says,
nation.
In God we trust.
I found out recently.
Also,
this is a fun fact.
I feel like that connection between the money and getting out of taxes, you didn't give enough. But
oh,
okay.
sorry.
No. That just,
no, let's go
I was
back.
like, this is gonna be a good. No. Now let's move on.
You tied it all together. That's great.
Oh,
you had a nice button.
No, feel good.
Okay.
I was so proud of myself. So proud of myself.
I like to do something where when someone else is talking, I go, I have a funny story. And as soon as they finish their last
you're
breath.
Like, on to the next one.
Yeah. This is about me, goddamn. I bring on other people on the podcast as a sounding board for my thoughts and feelings.
To share your stories.
Yes.
To share your stories.
That's what this is all about.
So good.
I don't remember what I was interrupting you with.
See, look, it wasn't even that important. You could have gave it to me and waited 2 more seconds and been like,
in God we trust, because there's every election cycle they're like, we should take in God we trust off the money.
Right.
And people are like, that's foundational to this country.
Right.
Having God we trust on our money.
Okay, counter argument, yes.
I've found out recently that wasn't a thing until like the 70s. That's like a extremely recent invention, the in God we trust on our money.
Like 1970s?
Yeah.
Like groovy, like hippies?
It
70s?
was not in protest of, but it was a reaction to the Cold War and like the USSR. We're like, no, we're the Christian country. So it's like that. Oh. It's like Ronald Reagan-ish recent that we put God on the money. It hasn't always been there. In fact, most of the time it hasn't been on there.
Man, when I hear people say, make this country great again, I'm like, bitch, before we put God in
Before we put
God
God on, that's anytime someone says we gotta go back to the old days, you're like, before God on the money.
Before God, is that what you want?
So
really?
you hate God?
You want yeah, you want God off the money and out of your life. You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking asshole.
That's a good. You hit me with a fun fact before cameras were rolling.
What was my fun fact?
About the moose.
Oh yes, moose. For all who didn't know, moose were not native to Colorado. Moose were not native to Colorado. They were introduced into Colorado because some guy was like, "This shit looks like a great place for moose to be." You know, just some guy, some rich white dude who's
It's like when you're tasting the soup and you're like, it needs a little
Yes.
acid. He was
Yeah,
just
they were
looking
like-
at the Rocky Mountains. He's like, you know what this could use?
a moose.
A moose.
A Colorado moose. And there's like theories that they had, possibly migrated from down to Alaska from Canada where there's a lot of moose, but for the most part moose weren't native. But this guy was like, we want moose
Get
to
in
be
here.
here.
No, come on in. This is a part of the show as people come in. Come in. All right, we'll get them next time.
So yeah, moose weren't native to Colorado, and then someone was like, "Hey, I want moose to be here." This person brought moose here, and then hunters almost murdered all the moose. Like they almost all went extinct.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude was like, "Man, this place is beautiful. We should have moose." And then someone brought moose, and then everyone killed all the moose, and then they're like, "Okay, we should reintroduce moose." So then they brought.
We
moose.
almost put it back to how it was God intended.
So we brought moose back, and now Colorado is a very healthy moose population. And Walden, Colorado, is a moose viewing capital of the world, of the United States, besides
Really?
Alaska.
Oh, I was going to say including
Excluding
Alaska. Okay.
because that place is just a fucking.
It's cold.
It's a zoo. It's an aquarium
Yeah.
of life. So besides that, moose is fucking popping down here in Colorado.
Wild.
Yeah. So just the more you know. And their scientific name is Allseas Allseas.
All seas.
Yeah. Don't know what it translates to, but I like saying it.
So were you were taking a class, you were not teaching a class.
I don't know what those two things.
Are you like, because you said I'm coming down from Boulder I'm leaving class now. I was wondering, were you teaching a class or are you like trying to get your master's degree?
No. I was teaching a class.
You were teaching a class.
Yes.
Okay.
So I work with a couple of programs, but for this program we like take students on like backpacking trips, hiking trips, fishing trips. We go like do nature walks and hikes and stuff like that. And so today we had like a class of like high schoolers who we like took on a hike. We talked about endangered species. We tried to identify some plants and some birds and stuff and like some springtime flowers. And so I was going back to school to like drop them off,
Gotcha.
put all the stuff back in the class, and then drive down here. Yeah.
So who hit you with the moose fact?
The other instructor. So there was
Okay.
another instructor who was like, "Did you know?" And I was like, "I did not."
Did you reciprocate with a fact of your own to show him that you're smart? And did you try to big dog him?
No, it was a her, first of all.
Big dog her.
And then I walked past and I whispered to her and I was like, "Don't you ever fucking embarrass me."
In front of these high schoolers?
Don't you ever fucking embarrass me like that. Again.
Like how you're like, I have to make a point that it is a woman.
It is a
and then I
woman.
told that bitch.
Yeah. Women can be intelligent too, but also I told her, "Don't you ever fucking embarrass me like that, or we're gonna have some problems." No,
Good, I'm glad you put her in her place.
we like to keep it equal. We like to keep
Yeah.
all the toxic shit as equal as possible.
Yeah, equal rights, equal lefts.
No, I had like some facts, but I don't know. It wasn't like a one. It wasn't like a dance battle with animal facts. You know, it wasn't like
yeah.
it was like you got served, but with
Yeah.
science.
So your purview, your field of study is not subaquatic exclusive, you know.
I think people just think it's subaquatic. People.
Well, I mean, you're
do
the fish
people even?
guy.
I don't even think people think that subaquatic means underwater.
Subaqueous.
Subaqueous. Oh,
That's
I
one of my
love that.
favorite words.
I like the way it's spelled too. I don't know why. I like the word aqueous. It looks
Yeah,
pleasant.
that's a good name for a boy.
Aqueous. That's actually a pretty sick ass boy's name.
It's cool as
Or a
hell.
ratchet ass black girl. Either way, somebody getting paid. I don't know who. Somebody getting paid.
I was wondering, now that I have you here, you're a wildlife expert, biologist.
Oh, expert is. If I was Donald Trump, I'd be an expert.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll just say
perfect.
I'm a wildlife Donald Trump level
in
expert.
Colorado Springs last 2 years ago during the last election cycle, there was a vote to re-release wolves into like a northern part of Colorado Springs.
Yes.
And then recently, some articles have come out about wolves attacking children and cows. In my unexpert opinion, feels like it shouldn't have been a vote thing. That feels like you should have asked the 4 people who live in that part of town and say, do you guys want wolves back? Yes or no? It doesn't feel like I should have had an opinion because now I'm responsible for that kid getting killed. Like that's blood on my hands.
Okay, let's do a couple of points.
Okay.
People were like, the state of Colorado was allowed to vote on wolves,
right?
Which I personally think should have been more of a science-based issue instead of people being like,
why do I get an opinion on this?
Yeah, like most of the state lives on the eastern slope, so anywhere from like, let's say Boulder East.
Sure.
Like most of the state lives Boulder East, right? But that's where the majority of the yeses for the wolves.
Yeah, now kids in Grand Junction are just getting snatched up, and they had nothing to do with it.
And then, do you know if it's true that a kid got killed by a wolf?
I think children have been mauled.
Okay, but that's like in Little Red Riding Hood or like in Colorado Springs? Like,
no, I don't know if a kid was going down a path and a wolf talked to the child and tricked them.
And stabbed them. That's how the wolf got him?
I think that was it.
No,
I think in my mind it's a little shepherd boy. He has a cane. He's Jewish. He's got a little shawl.
And he got mauled by here's the thing. Wolves are federally protected, so they're federally endangered species.
Federally.
What was I saying?
Federally.
Like Kevin Federline? They were Kevin.
You said featherly, like a
no,
bird's feathers.
They're just lightly protected.
They're just like under a mother duck's wing. They're featherly protected.
They just swoosh down.
In the federal government.
They are federally protected by the government. So since wolves have been protected under the Endangered Species Act,
come on in, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Get in here.
Sorry.
No, please.
We're just teaching about animals.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
and
What's
wolves.
your favorite megafauna?
Megafauna? Ooh, giant ground sloth.
Giant ground sloth. Favorite megafauna?
Yes.
Big animal?
I like the blue whale.
Blue whale. Damn, we got varied wildlife in this room.
That's good. That's a good one. He's good. He'll be fine back there.
What was I saying?
There's an on-air sign out there.
Oh,
I should have turned it on.
Can you still do it?
I don't know. I don't know if it works.
Oh,
well,
you said this was a part of the podcast.
It is now.
Come in.
Normally we don't have so many surprise guests.
What was I saying?
Federally.
Oh, they're federally protected. Since they became protected, there's been a rule because ranchers and landowners and people with cattle or sheep or whatever or livestock get the animals killed. Animals get killed all the time, right? There's like I don't know what the act is. I don't know what the law is, but it's like if you get killed, if you lose livestock to an animal that's protected by the government, then you get paid for that livestock. So it's not just
that's nice.
Yeah, it's not just like you lose a fucking couple of goats and then everyone's like, well, the wolves are about, so you're good luck. No, it's like you get reimbursed for that loss of livestock. And here's the thing with wolves. A lot of people think like, oh, wolves are just like out here grabbing people. Coyotes, which is a mesopredator, which means they're in the middle of they're not as apex as wolves, but they're not like raccoons and scroungers. They're like right in the middle. They kill more livestock than wolves do. So like when calves drop in the spring, coyotes are out and they're just like snatching babies because that's the easiest time to grab them. So coyotes are more of a problem than wolves. Wolves actually help the environment.
My dad kicked the hell out of a coyote once.
That's just for
Get in here.
For
favorite species of megafauna? Big animal. Favorite big animal? Yeah.
Thanks for teaching me something.
You're welcome.
I would say
A mammoth.
Oh, damn.
Extinct one. That's fun.
they just look cool. Their tusks are fucking huge.
They do look
Tusks
cool
are
as fuck.
huge.
It seems like an animal you could ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this podcast?
You are now. I have to put your you can put this on your credits.
Damn, mammoth. If you had to bring back one extinct species, what would you bring back?
I feel like there's probably an island of Polynesian people that Captain Cook took out a while back. Feels like the right thing to do.
You can't call. You can't. They're still Homo sapiens.
Yeah, I'm
So
not.
they're not a
okay, that's
species.
not. I'm saying if we had to bring something back, I'd rather bring back people than an animal.
I
wasn't
don't know.
calling. I wasn't calling them of another species.
No, it sounded like you did. It sounded like you were saying there's an island of people that I would bring back.
Savages. No, that's not what. That's not what I was
Cage them
going
and
through.
study them.
I was trying to be. I was trying to
be a decent person.
Not even. I was like, you had a question. I'm like, what would be a funny answer to that question?
No,
it
that
came
was
across as racist.
As slave trade, yeah. It came across a little bit as
That's another fun part of the podcast.
slave trade.
we do something fun and racy in every episode.
On my way down here, I actually thought I was like, I wish that they let slaves go on April Fools.
That would be fun.
So then every year they just be like, yeah, and people were like, "Is this true? Is this not true?" I mean, Juneteenth is it's a banger. It's right in the summer. It's always a party, good food, good people. But I'm like, April Fools would have been fun.
I like slave owners
Okay,
being.
we're gonna that's the
clip
whole
that.
sentence.
Yeah. I like slave owners being the worst kind of person, but also just a little whimsical around the holidays. That's a fun little thing they could give them.
Just a little fun.
Just a little whimsy. Just a kiss.
Just a kiss.
Kiss of fun.
Just a kiss of whimsy.
Just to keep their spirits up.
You guys are free. No, you're not free. Oh, almost got you. Almost got you.
They're doing a lot of like light. You almost got me.
Just joshing you. I fucking hate that.
Tussle his hair. You hate joshing?
I don't know why josh it. I'm just say you're fucking joking or fucking around. I don't know. Joshing just. It seems like there was a guy named Josh who really was full of himself. Yeah. And he was like, how do I get people just to remember who I am?
Now he's lost to the annals of time. My
him.
dad made it a point. We were growing up. He's like, you do not say you're joking.
Really?
You do not say you're joking. If it's funny enough, they'll know. If not, you die. You die on your laurels.
So your dad was a commit to the bit type of man?
Fully. You never say, I'm joking. You
don't
ride it until you die.
You
And
don't
if they
break
don't
character.
get it, it's either their problem or you weren't funny enough, and they should be mad at you.
Damn, your dad, he created a comedian.
Yeah.
He created the stand-up comedy.
Yeah, he was really aggressive about
It's like the who's Michael Jackson's dad?
Joe?
Joe Jackson? Like the Joe Jackson of comedy.
There was a Michael Jackson song, again, I heard on TikTok. I saw a woman dressed as white Michael Jackson dancing, and she was dancing to a Michael Jackson song that I had not heard of before, which frustrated me because I know the whole
Discography.
bibliography,
Yes.
discography. But it drove me crazy. It drove me crazy trying to find the song. Turns out it's from an unreleased version of a song from the Jacksons. And it was supposed to be, I'm blanking on now, but one of the brothers, it was supposed to be like his song, and then Michael had a solo in it, and it's beautiful, and it's great. But they cut it because they're like, this is his song.
Jesus.
Everyone's good. Okay, we got to give one of your brothers one of the songs. You can't have this beautiful solo in here. They cut it out. But you can't find it on anywhere except YouTube. Very frustrating.
You should send it to me. Do you think that you could beat greatness into a stand-up comic? Like the Williams sisters. Like they had a tough dad who made them who they are.
Yeah.
You know, like
Jake the Snake.
Lewis Hamilton, the greatest F1 driver of all time. His dad like made him a F1 driver. Like Michael Jordan before his dad passed. Made him like Kobe Bryant's dad before do you think you could beat great
Yes. I don't know, but I don't know if you could. I mean, there's like technique stuff that like
Yeah, it's a
rule of
torturing
3,
thing.
and then you hit him with a belt or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think you could like.
You're like misdirect.
So I think you could do that. I think like it would be funny to beat improv into someone like yes and this. I think you could beat anything into anyone.
I don't know. I feel like comedy is just one of those things where
It's a combination of things because it's one of those like you either get it or you don't with comedy. But I think it's the same thing like with Michael Jordan. He already had to have been a genetic freak, and then he had that dad.
Right.
So it's like, yes, but you already kind of have to have it and then have an obsessive parent. You can't beat it into a middling. You were never going to take a middling basketball player and make him into an incredible basketball player.
That's a good point.
You're going to take a college-level athlete and make him into the greatest of all time.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a kid, and I want them to be. I'm gonna beat them into being a comic. I'm like, they're like, my dad kept me up 4 days in a row just watching specials. Like all we did was watch specials. Like just that shit, just like real sad. But like, oh man, that's why he's the greatest.
That's why he's the best.
That's why he's the greatest.
I saw three like stand-up in concert shows before I saw live music for the first time that wasn't like church worship music.
Where was the stand-up? What was the? Who's the stand-up?
Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan, and Jerry Seinfeld, like in concert before I saw music. The first music concert I ever saw was Stevie Wonder. So I'm just hitting all the greats back to back to back.
Bro, you just hit like the clean Christian boy trifecta. Besides Jim Gaffigan. Gaffigan's still clean.
Any Christian will tell you, I love Brian Regan or I love Jim Gaffigan. Or they'll go, I love Jerry Seinfeld, even though he says ass sometimes. Like, that's their naughty one. It's Jerry Seinfeld.
But he was so clean.
He was clean.
He's one of the cleanest comics of all time.
He has one joke about a horse's ass that people are like, whoa, Jerry, go off. But yeah,
we can't say this in church.
I saw the clean triumvirate.
Have you ever been to black church?
I desperately want to go.
I'm trying to think. I go to like a predominantly mixed church. You know, there's like people in like sandals and Broncos jerseys, and then like still people dressing up. But I miss my black church.
I love my church is like 50 people. Okay. They're all very old white people, but it's very by the books. And I like that about it. There's not a lot of and I mean that in a way of like, there's not a lot of like Americanization or like patriotism. Like we're more Republican than we are Christian church. It's like a very we keep that out of here.
You focus on God.
Yeah.
You focus on the point of church.
Yes, the entire point of it. And like our pastor will like read stuff out of the book because he like can read like Greek and Hebrew and all that stuff, and he will say like, modern day Americans have interpreted this as meaning this, but actually if you look at the Greek, what it means is this.
Oh, sick.
So it's an old white church that's actually, I wouldn't say progressive, but it's like it ditches a lot of things I think that you would associate with being a Christian
now.
Right.
A Christian
because
now,
people have read stuff into things that don't actually exist there. Read out of the word. So all that being said, the music, terrible. I hate it. I can't get into it. And the only I love music. The only music that I think could make me cry is Stevie Wonder, because like it's such a part of my childhood, and it's so I love. So like to have just Karen on the keyboards, she's off, rhythm's off, the timing's off. A good black church feels like I would never be closer to God than when we're hitting those harmonies. And it'd be incredible.
And here's the thing: I think when I was going to church growing up, especially when I was like starting to get into delinquent behavior with my friends, I would always go to church with my grandma on Sundays, and I didn't really understand, especially in high school, I didn't really understand the sermons or the word. It's what people call it. They call it the word. I didn't understand the word, but whenever the music would happen, I would be like, damn, I need to get my life together.
Right?
Or I'd be like,
touches your soul.
I'd be like, God does forgive me, But then during, like, while he's talking and while he's preaching and reading the sermon, I'd be like, these don't really mean nothing to me. But then some lady just sings for 4 minutes and I'm in tears, like, I gotta stop cheating on my test. You know, like I gotta. And I don't know why, but I still listen to gospel. I go to church every Sunday when I can. If I'm home, if I'm in Colorado, I'm going to church, and I try to I miss the songs at my church now because they're just most of the time they're bad. Just like you said, and so I like show
Chris
up
Tomlin.
right. I like show up right as the sermon starts, get my little word in, and then I leave, and then I have my own like little gospel playlist that I play that reminds me of my youth of like dancing in church and people doing the Holy Ghost. You know,
we gotta share playlists.
it's a TikTok dance. Oh yeah, I'll absolutely share my playlist. You know, a lot of Kirk Franklin. Do you know who Kirk Franklin is?
Of course I do.
Okay, because I know. Well, you guys listen. This past week, I was with some people, and I was like, "Do you guys know who Kirk Franklin is?" And they were like, "No." And I was like, "How do you?" He's like he's like the Kanye of gospel music.
You're going.
Oh,
from
it was
like,
BK Sherrod. BK Sherrod doesn't know who Kirk Franklin is, but he's a fucking heathen.
Yeah.
So.
I was at Cinderella night. Me and I don't know if you know Cameron McKenzie.
Yes.
Me and Cam were talking to Big Mike, and Cameron name dropped Kirk Franklin, and then I'm not a real singing and dancing guy. I love the music, but those two like went off. They did stomp. They did a whole number. It was incredible.
Jesus is the reason.
Dude, I love Kirk. Going
from
from Chris Tomlin and like Jesus loves me to like
This
discovering
yes.
Kirk Franklin. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were allowed to
like
be good
or dance.
I thought music had to be bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know worship music could rhyme. I
Yeah.
lose my mind at I think the biggest reason I hate regular contemporary worship music.
yeah.
It never rhymes.
No. It's just factual. It's just
statements.
It's just taking the word
in a
and
row.
putting a very shallow beat behind it. Kirk Franklin. We used to dance to Kirk Franklin. Yeah, man, that was.
You
my youth.
hotbox to Kirk Franklin. You're like, I
No.
gotta turn my life around. I gotta.
No. I was never a big. I never really. I think I smoked weed once my senior year of high school, right before prom. Didn't like it. I smoked a little bit in my sophomore year of college because I lived by myself, and I was like, "This is what I'm supposed to be, man." Like smoking weed. I did like to smoke weed and vacuum. That was my thing. So whenever my apartment was dirty, I would get some weed from this dude and smoke weed and just vacuum for like 3 hours. And the lady below me probably fucking hated me, but my apartment was clean as fuck. But I was never like a big weed guy. Lately, I've been trying to do mushrooms, but that hasn't been working. So.
Yeah. I was talking to my wife recently, not convincing her of doing mushrooms, but like just about like psilocybin as a thing, and like, yeah, you know how they're using it to like cure PTSD
And dementia.
Yeah. Crazy drug. And a buddy of mine took mushrooms once and told me like he had like a person there who kind of walked him through the experience, and he's like, it was such a religious experience. Like truly, I've never felt closer to God, and not like in a hippy dippy way. It's like I feel like taking psilocybin made me more Christian. Like he's Catholic now. That's how deep in he went. And then he said the next time he took mushrooms, he was watching a movie alone by himself called Annihilation in IMAX. And he said, and that trip was so bad I didn't sleep for 2 days. So he got a real high of high, low of lows.
Yeah.
But it's that like I was talking to Johnny Bratsfield. He's trying to convince me to do drugs a lot. And that's kind of his big thing.
That's his tagline, Johnny Bradstein, trying to get you to do drugs a lot.
But yeah, I'm like, I think the thing that freaks me out is they always talk about like you can't go into like a psilocybin trip in a bad headspace. You have to go in a good headspace.
Yeah.
And I know as soon as I would take it, I would go like, but am I in a bad headspace? Like, and then I would trip myself out. I'm too anxious to even try the attempt.
Consider. Yeah, I like was against it for a long time. I was like, I'm not doing fucking mushrooms. Like, I'm not a hippie. I don't. And then I heard stories of people being like, oh man, I got high and I like saw God in space and time, and I like learned about myself. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn. I don't want to peek behind the curtain.
Right.
You know, like I just
want to leave a little mystery.
Yeah, like I just want to see colors dance or something. I just want to see like something really quick, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my own research on mushrooms. And so I did. I watched a bunch of documentaries. I read a bunch of like scientific articles, and I was like, okay, mushrooms. Like this is, I feel okay. I feel like I understand it. I feel like I'm not gonna go into it. And then I got to a place where I was just like, fuck it. All right, I'm just gonna try mushrooms. And I ate like a lot to a point that the person I did them with was like, oh
Stop.
fuck. And I was like, oh, bro. I sat there for like 6 hours, nothing. Like not even like a fucking woo. Like not even like a. Whew.
You're
And I was like-
immune.
and I was like, all right, fuck it. Next time I was hanging out with 2 people, they did mushrooms. We all did the same amount. Fucking, they were giggling. They're like, wow, look at the clouds, trying to like see birds and shit. And I was like, bro, I don't feel anything. One night I was with my girl, took a whole like stem that someone here at Looney's shared
Like how
with
you
me.
kept trying.
Well, I was just
want
like,
it.
I got past the point of like, oh, I'm afraid to take them. Now I was like, okay, I want to see if this shit works. So I got something that someone gave me from Looney's. It wasn't a chocolate. It wasn't like a candy. It was like the actual mushroom. And I was like, all right. Popped them, went to the Broncos game. Nothing. Like, and I was like, you know what? This is fucking.
You're immune.
And I was like, am I just so enlightened that I don't
You're
even know?
already at the height of where you could be.
And I was like, man, and jokingly, I'm like, no, I just don't think they work on me. But then I'm like, well, maybe it's just like a.
You fly fish too much. You're already
like-
like too in the zone.
Yeah, I've never like been wanting to like escape reality.
Yeah.
You know, like I've always, and even like with comedy, I just go like, it doesn't matter. Like I when I first started, I was like, oh, I want to be good. But even like when I first started, I was like, I just like doing comedy. I like the feeling of like just being involved in this. And like one day we're gonna die. Some shows are gonna go well, some shows aren't. But it's just like a part of what it is. And I'm like, damn, maybe I am fucking enlightened. And, you know, like I believe in God. I
You're
also
right,
don't
dude.
believe in like some ideas of the church. But then I'm like, well, I have my own conversations with God. So I don't need to like talk to someone with God. I don't know. It's just like a weird thing. And I was like, fuck, I just want to get high a little.
Come on, give me something.
just something where it's like, oh man, that's like Jimi Hendrix. Like is really good.
He's there.
But so I don't think it'll happen. I think I'm past the threshold of like, okay, now I just don't give a fuck. You know, like I'm like, I think at some age you probably have to stop doing that shit unless it's for like medicinal purposes.
Yeah. That's crazy. They got to test your blood or something.
I know, man. It's just
Give it to veterans. maybe that's what they need for their PTSD.
I just become this patient zero for
Yeah,
causing all
you
for
save.
saving all the veterans. That'd be crazy, man. It's like a no.
I
don't think it's like that.
want to.
I fucking love crack though. No, what if that was
You
just
can't
my
have
other way?
blood.
What if that was my other way? Mushrooms don't work, but I'll do crack every single day. No, I've never done crack.
I want to hallucinate
Yeah.
just because and this is probably also not a good way to hallucinate. I want to see if I can like figure it out. Like, can I focus my way through it where it's like, oh, I'm tripping and the walls are melting. Obviously something has chemically altered your brain.
Yes.
Can I still just power through and go like, no, the wall is not melting? How can it take me, or can I win?
I know nothing about psychedelics, but I feel like
That's really bad for it.
That would be bad.
I feel like it's really bad
'Cause
for
I
it. It's all I want to do is fight it.
Yeah, I
wanna
feel like
fight it.
if you're gripping onto it, going like, I fucking got it, then the world's going to be like,
all
no,
I
you
wanna
don't.
I did.
Which would be fun, but
It would be fun
probably
as hell.
not productive.
I've been high one time. My wife left on a trip, and I took an edible while she was gone.
Ooh, bad boy.
I as soon as I was done, I called her to apologize. I'm like, hey, I've betrayed your trust deeply. Like, it wasn't even that I did drugs. It's that I waited until you left to do drugs.
Like that was your porn?
Oops, I dropped something.
What was it?
I don't know. Oh, it was my phone. Okay, real quick. While I drop something, let me check. Let me just make sure. I do this fun thing. Another Easter egg I do is let the battery die every time. No, we're full bars. No, I got high one time. My wife left. I got some edibles. I took 10 milligrams of a chocolate bar.
Beautiful.
Mint chocolate.
Solid flavor.
Solid flavor. Tastes bad with marijuana.
Oh, it tastes like marijuana.
I was pissed. I'm like, okay, I spent $45 for it to taste like garbage. But I took 10, And then I didn't do because I've just lived in Colorado my whole life. You've heard so many stories of like, I ate a brownie, I didn't feel it, so I ate all the brownies.
And then people go like, whoa!
Yeah. So I took 10. I waited 4 hours. Still didn't feel anything. It felt like I sat on my hand for too long. It was like kind of buzzy.
Yeah.
And that was it. So then I'm like, all right. So I took 20. Took 2 little tabs of chocolate. And then I felt it, and I just took notes. I was purely for scientific reasons.
Yeah, bro, you don't do drugs anymore.
I took scientific notes. I time-stamped them. And, yeah, it was a lot of, like, I feel like I have Jack Skellington fingers.
Yeah.
I have clickety-clackety fingers. Very aware of my bones.
Yeah.
I'm very aware of how much I weigh. I kept jumping up and down and going like, that's a lot of meat. That's a lot of meat coming down. I was just very aware of all the meat that's on my bones.
You were studying yourself
Yes.
on drugs.
I was looking at myself in the mirror doing like shadow boxing, like doing karate just to be like, who's that guy in
Bro,
there?
I
Huh?
wish
What's he
there
up
was like
to?
a secret camera that your wife had set up
just
to be watching
a nanny
you.
cam.
Just doing. She's like, what the fuck?
I was like, okay, so when you get high, you get the munchies. I'm not hungry, but I should eat something because that's what you do. And then I ate a bunch of food. I'm like, my stomach hurts.
Yes.
I can feel the food in my stomach.
Yeah.
I can feel it resting there.
Yeah.
Just a terrible experience. I just didn't have like a panic attack. I was just like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy this.
That's fucking hilarious. One time I got high. It was like my first time in college, like getting high. Like we sat in the car for like 3 hours, passing around the bong and blunts, and just got fucking. Went back to this dude's house, and I'm sitting there in this chair, and for like 45 minutes, I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave. And I remember putting my phone on, and like like when you first get high, you want to see what you look like.
Yeah.
So I like put my phone on, and I was looking at myself, and I started laughing. My friend's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I was just seeing what time it was," and I just stared at my phone, and I kept remember being like, "Okay, I'm gonna get up in 3, 2." Okay. I promise you I'm going to get up for 45 minutes. And I did. And my friend was like, do you want to leave? And I'm like, bro, I've been trying to leave this entire time. And then, then I got into a fight with my roommate. But,
good.
He was just a bitch.
Say his first and last name.
I'm not. But then recently in the last like 2 years, I had to stop taking edibles because my girlfriend really started taking edibles. And I was like, she's like, let's like take edibles and watch Family Guy. Like that was our thing. We like take edibles and just laugh at Family Guy that we've seen 100 times.
Yeah.
But then I had to stop taking it because she would be enjoying herself. And here's how my brain would go. I would go.
She's just doing Stewie voice.
Yeah.
Like I've never been more turned on in my life.
She would be like high on the couch laughing, and I would be like, oh man, we're just like sitting here. I'm like, man, that TV is bright, it's taking up a lot of energy. I'm like, oh man, energy. We're on like a grid scale. And I'm like, well, what happens when the grid runs out? And I'm like, oh wait, we're not gonna have any power. And I'm like, well, we're not gonna be able to pump water because most of our water comes from the western part of the state. Something like 70 or 80% of the water gets pumped from the western side of the state to the eastern side of the state because most of the people live here. And I'm like, well, what if I have a kid? Am I gonna have to teach them how to survive without water?
Create an aqueduct.
And so then my brain just keeps like going and going, and I'm like, wait, but then other people are going to run out of water, and then we're going to have to move places, but then people are going to move to Colorado because we have so much water, and then everyone's going to die, and I don't know if I want to die. And like,
and
so
the whole time it's like, oh, Peter.
and she's like crying. She's crying, laughing, and I'm crying because I'm like, I don't want my kids not to have water. And it's
Aqueous snow.
like I would just like go through like this climate change spiral. And the first time it happened, I was like, okay, I just had like a nature panic attack. Sure. Whatever, right? Bro, it happened like 4 more times, and my girl sat me down and was like, I don't think we should get high because all you do is talk about animals in the environment, and it's a bummer.
Have you just tried different shows? Maybe that's what it is. You know, like you get like tequila drunk or wine drunk.
No, because
then you just get Family Guy high versus South Park high versus.
Because then it just give me a show and I'll tell you how I can spiral.
Abbott Elementary.
Oh my God! I'm like, okay, black people in Philly.
All right, well that was an easy one. Okay,
I'm
that's just sad. You
I'm
can
just
go
like,
on to the
they
next
don't,
one.
they don't have access to other stuff that other people have access to. And I'm like, Philly's a shithole, but it is kind of close to Canada a little bit. But I'm like, what if we try to go to Canada and Canada doesn't let us in? And then And then Mexico comes in and they just take everything over because honestly, they're probably smart. And like it just keeps fucking going and going.
Do burn notice.
What's burn notice?
No one knows. No one knows
from
what-
TBS or USA.
USA. No one knows what burn notice
It was like Burn Notice, Suits, and Monk. Like those were the shows that would
Yeah?
come on at the same time. That's funny. Burn Notice. That's what the world's gonna be like because we're all gonna be on fire. It's gonna be a burn notice. So, yeah. So don't do drugs because of the climate change. It's a fucking
Okay.
bummer.
That's good. Hey, we got 10 minutes left
Oh,
because you gotta go do a show.
I do have to do a show.
I'm
so tired, bro.
You're real sleepy.
I'm so
If you
tired.
need a place to crash, I got a guest bedroom for you.
I got back. Here's the thing. I have to work tomorrow morning.
Oh yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
I have to work in outside Netherlands. I got back from Belize
Yes,
last Thursday.
you're a well-traveled man, international man of mystery.
Landed at 10 p.m. Woke up at 7 o'clock to go pick up BK Sherrod. We drove to Steamboat. We had a show in Steamboat Friday and Saturday. Sunday morning, drove back down to Denver. Went to a baby shower. Then had a show. Then I worked Monday, Tuesday. Had shows Monday, Tuesday. Drove up to Carbondale, Colorado, which is near Aspen, Basalt. We drove up to Carbondale, Colorado on Wednesday. Drove back down to Denver to do Comedy Works. Drove up back to Carbondale on Thursday to finish my program. Drove back down to Denver Thursday night to do a show. Took my students up backpacking and hiking today. Drove back down to Colorado Springs, which was 2 hours instead of 1 hour home. Tomorrow I have to drive an hour to Netherlands to go do this work training. And I have 2 shows tomorrow night in Denver. And then, or 3 shows tomorrow night.
Uh-huh.
And then Sunday I have to work again. And then I have a show on Sunday night.
So it sounds like you've done this to yourself.
Yeah, but I'm just like,
So I don't know how bad you want me to feel for you.
like I've just been like, I've
you
just
are
been
busy. You're
either in
extremely
the
busy.
car,
Yeah.
talking to people, or like, that's it. Those are the
Yeah.
only
So
two
this is a
options.
real chore for you.
It's exhausting. Just wasted like long hours in the car to like hop out. Like I was falling asleep on my way down here today, like in the car. Like,
Why do you just do you not plan time in your schedule to like take a Saturday off?
well, like
You
some
got that grind set? Is that the
hashtag
problem?
hashtag grind, hashtag Sammy Anzer. You know, I'm hitting 6 mics every morning before I go to work. No, it's just like I don't know. It's just like all the things I like enjoy doing, but like somehow it all conglomerated in like
You're accidentally successful in too many areas at the same time.
but it all happened in like a 2-week period.
Yeah.
Because it was like a week, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like a Tuesday and a Thursday, and a Wednesday I was like, I just don't have shit to do today. Like life is good, you know. Like I think I have a show tonight. I have to finish my work schedule for next week, but I was like, I'm just fucking chilling. And now like from getting back from Belize until like next Saturday, like
you
I'm
have
just
slept, driven a car, or talked.
That's it. Like that's my girl's like, when are we gonna hang out? And I'm like, I see you every night when I go to sleep. You know,
Is that not good enough for you?
which is horrible. So yeah, I don't know why I complained, but I just needed to vent that because I'm so tired. I'm so tired. In the last 3 days, I've maybe gotten like 10 hours of sleep. And I'm so tired, and I have to go home tonight, finish my curriculum to do the training tomorrow, and then I have to wake up at like 7 to drive up there to be up there by 8. And I'm just like, I'm not. And I have to drive back to Denver tonight.
Is there anything I could do for you? Can I DoorDash you something?
No,
Hey,
no.
Can I?
Just call in a bomb threat to
Okay.
get one thing canceled. If I get
Perfect.
one thing canceled, that's what we
Anything
should start
for you.
doing. We should start calling in bomb threats to get out of stuff. For a while, it was COVID. People be like, oh, I just got
Mm.
COVID, and they would cough. But I think we start calling in more bomb threats.
Yeah.
Get some vacation times coming, you know? What do you do for work? Start doing crowd work? What do you do for work?
I work for a company that we do non-profit donor relationship management software. So
Okay,
you
so-
donate somewhere.
So when you have fundraisers and stuff?
Yeah, when you donate somewhere, what do they do with your information? How do they reach back out to you? Say thank you. Try to convert you to a regular, reoccurring monthly donor. How do they email you? How do
Oh,
they
sick.
process your payments?
That's sweet. Do you enjoy it?
I do.
Good.
I get to work from home. My
Lovely.
last job, I had for almost 2 years. I wanted to die for about 2 years.
Sick.
This job, real nice.
That's
boss is younger than me, and he's the nicest boy in the world.
Do you say that to him?
No.
Nice
I told
boy.
him when I met him in person. The company like flew everyone out to Phoenix for like an all staff thing, and I met him. I'm like, you're taller than I thought you were gonna be.
Yeah.
He's like, how short? He's like as tall as I am.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I thought you were gonna be like 5'5", 5'6".
I don't respect you.
He was like, why? I'm like, I don't know. You own cats. It's just like,
Oh yeah.
It's just a
Any
short
man
man
who
thing.
owns cats
yeah.
by himself needs
He's
to
delicate.
be. Yes.
But
Yeah.
he's great. Lovely boss.
That's
Good
sick.
work. That's what I do.
That's good. That makes my heart happy that you enjoy it.
I do enjoy it.
I like asking people, do you enjoy your job?
I do.
Because most people don't.
No.
I worked at a job where I worked on the 10th floor, and I worked with my mom. She was like the HR person, and she got me this job out of nepotism. And
Don't
every
knock
day-
it till you try it, people.
It's fucking fantastic. Every day I walked into her office before I got to my cubicle, and I was like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. And I would stare at the window, and this is how much I hated the job. I had like a bunch of to-do shit to do. I calculated. I didn't Google it.
Uh-huh.
I calculated how long it would take me to hit the ground if I jumped out of the 10-story window. Like, I took my weight. I took gravity. Like, I did the actual math, which was like 3 hours because I'm not good at math.
At my last job, I hated it so much, and I hated my boss so much that I would just constantly come up with excuses of like why I can't come, not to work, but like we had to do, because I worked for a nonprofit. Now I work for a place that sells stuff to nonprofits, but I worked for a ministry, and we just had like a bunch of like fundraising events we had to do and get-togethers and lunches, and I would just come up with so many excuses because I just hated the job and I hated her, that she thought my life was just constantly falling apart. Because I'm like, she got mad at me once because she was like, your wife needs to get it together. Because I would constantly be like, sorry, my wife locked her keys out. My wife did this. My wife did that. She's like, I don't know what you guys need to figure it out, but your wife needs to get it together.
She meets your wife and goes, you are a piece of shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
I just
fucking
kept
funny.
coming up with reasons like, sorry, my life's falling apart once again. My daughter's got glaucoma. I don't know. I can't make it in. We just found out.
I love this idea that you hate your job so much and you lie so much that your boss is like sad for you. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm just sorry. Your life is a mess. She has a fundraiser for you.
If she ever would have said sorry one time, maybe I would have had to lie so much. There was genuinely, this was a real thing that happened. The problem is that sometimes real stuff would happen in the midst of all the lies I had sown. But I was in Atlanta doing comedy shows. I was in like a weird contest thing. It was bizarre. Not the point. I was in Atlanta. My wife called me and said like, I have to go to the hospital. Something like her like gallbladder had ruptured.
Okay.
Just like a weird thing. So her dad took her to the hospital. So I told my boss like, hey, I'm supposed to be back at work at Monday. I'm not coming. I'm not coming to work. My wife is in the hospital.
Right.
When I finally got back to work, she called me into her office and she was upset. 'Cause she's like, you didn't ask me if you could have the day off. I felt like you were telling me you could have the day off. And I was like, that is correct. 100% I was telling you.
We're on the same page.
I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I was not asking you if I could not come in. I was telling you I'm not coming in. My wife is in the hospital. It was bad. The thing that like 3 months in, I always try to work everywhere for a year. I knew 3 months in, I have to get out of here. And it took me another year and a half to find a job. But 3 months in, I sent her like a list of donors. And she said, hey, if you could alphabetize this Excel sheet for me. And I was like, sure. In the future, I'm happy to make sure these are alphabetized for you. I had it sorted by like largest donor. She wanted alphabetized. Cool. Happy to do that in the future. In the meantime, it's just honestly going to be faster. And I screenshotted and like highlighted for him. Like if you click the column, you click the row, and then you click the alphabetize button.
Yeah.
It'll alphabetize the whole thing for you. So I'll make sure to do it in the future. But right now, you can just click those two things. And she responded back, I didn't ask how to alphabetize it.
Damn.
I asked it to be alphabetized. So I was like, all right, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
That makes me wish I worked for her just to get fired.
If I didn't have a wife and child, I would burn that bridge a long time ago. But
the younger me would have been like, oh, I just got to figure out a new place to work. Like, this isn't working out. Now I'm at that age where I'm like, I will tell you to go fuck yourself. Glad there's a freedom to that, to being like, have you lost your fucking mind? Do you know who you're talking to?
I'm a man.
Dude, not even I'm a man. Just I'm a fucking person. I am a human. You better. I will kick you in the throat. Like it doesn't.
Every meeting.
Like it doesn't. I don't know. I just something about treating people that bad. It doesn't matter if it's a job. Like you know, like this car cut me off on the way here.
Yeah.
And then like flipped everyone off around him. And I wasn't mad that he cut me off. I was mad that he thought he could treat everyone else like that. So I got in front of him, cut him off, and slowed down, and then let all the other cars pass. And he was like honking at shit. And I was like, just don't. If you just weren't an asshole, if you're just like a regular person, I would have been like, oh no, go ahead, you got it. Like even if you would have jumped in front, I'd be like, all right, you know, I've done that before. You know, I have no shame in that. But you're just being an asshole for no reason. Like I would like people to hire me to be in their position for a day just to tell their boss to go fuck themselves. And then their boss goes, hey,
who are you?
What are you doing there? And I'm like, someone paid me to come into the office on their behalf to tell you to go fuck themselves. And then the person will come in the next day and they'd be like, did you tell Eeland to tell me to go fuck myself? And they'd be like, no,
Who?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I had a dentist appointment yesterday. I would love that. That would make me nothing happy. I hate bullies. I think bullying is needed, but I hate bullies.
Yeah. I've seen enough Instagram reels where I'm like, someone should have said something to that kid. Yeah. Someone should have watched him and said, you want
a fucking knuckle sandwich.
Well, it's just about time. I do want to leave room for questions.
For me?
Yeah.
Like for me to ask you?
Yeah. I know you're such a big fan of mine. I know there's like a big opportunity for you.
I've asked all the questions.
Okay.
Yeah, my manager over there, he was putting up the cue cards.
Yeah.
So I've asked all my questions. I asked about your job, about church. I think I asked some good questions.
You asked some good questions.
Thank you.
Hey, Eeland, thank you so much. You have a job to do. Anything you want to plug?
Not really.
Okay.
Some people have stuff to plug, and I guess I could have stuff to plug, but I'm like, it doesn't matter.
You don't need anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything at all.
Hey, why don't you cheers me?
Cheers.
That's
Salud.
the thumbnail.
Salud.
Thumbnail for
this is race relations in America. This is.
We did it.
Donald Trump would take that picture and be like, see, I'm bringing everybody together.
That was good.
That was a horrible
That was
Donald
a good
Trump.
impression.
It's the laziest.
What are you, Jason Alexander? All right, let's get out of here.
Hey.
Okay.
It's like Fat Albert and Donald Trump. Hey.
That's Eeland. Thank you.